Welcome, interview panel volunteers. I know that this is a busy time of year. If you're a parent, you may have gifts to wrap. If you're a student, you're ready to relax after the final exams and final projects. And if you're a staff member, grades and report deadlines are pressing in upon you. In addition, many of your thoughts may be on the World Cup. So, I decided to make this video rather than intrude on your busy schedules for an orientation meeting. First of all, I want to tell you about the importance of the work that you are about to do. I believe that hiring the right Director of Learning and Teaching for ACS may be the most important thing that we do for the future of our school in the entire year. For many of you, this role on the senior leadership team may be unfamiliar, so I want to compare and contrast it to other roles in the school by way of an analogy to a nonprofit city symphony. In particular, I want to distinguish the Director of Teaching and Learning role from a role that we had before the pandemic called Curriculum Coordinator. In the symphony analogy, my role would be working with the board to craft a shared strategic direction for the symphony, partnering with the community groups to ensure funding, and making sure that we have the staff to look after the facilities and finances, as well as bringing in a great team to make beautiful music. A principal would correspond to the conductor of the symphony. They would lead musicians, schedule practices, organize performances, and strive for continuous improvement. In this analogy, our old role of curriculum coordinator would correspond to someone who ensured that all the musicians had the right music. They would also work with the conductor to make sure musicians were making annotations in their music to improve continuously. The Director of Learning and Teaching, however, corresponds to a much more encompassing role. The Director of Learning and Teaching would correspond to the composer. But the composer that I have in mind is not a dead one who left their music behind. Rather, the role I envision is an active composer who is looking to tailor music that has inspired audiences all around the world to our particular context. The composer might also bring a special cello tuning popular in Vienna to our musicians and provide the resources for them to learn it. They might equally bring traditional instruments from China to add depth and complexity to our music. The composer would not just inspire the musicians, but also the conductor and all the community with visions of what could be rather than what is. In a similar way, my hope is that the new Director of Learning and Teaching could have a transformative impact on our community, bringing ACS to the world and the world to ACS. So what has the process been like to find this person? We started last spring crafting a job description and promotional materials with the help of an organization called the Global Recruitment Collaborative. They started advertising the position worldwide shortly after the start of our school year. They received more than 30 applications. Then, they went through several rounds of asking candidates more questions to reduce the candidate pool to a core group that had the skills and experience to do the job. Our HR director, our heads of department, and our senior leadership team, as well as myself, interviewed the candidates and further reduced them down to the small number you will meet this weekend. I think you will find that this rigorous process has produced a small number of high-quality candidates who could all do the job very well. They would, however, do the job differently. I don't believe there are any bad apples left to eliminate. Instead, we want your feedback on who would do the job in a manner most aligned with our needs, our values, and where we hope to grow. To do this, we need to get organized. We will have a panel of parents, a panel of students, and a panel of staff members. Each meet with candidates on Sunday morning between 7 and 11 a.m. via Zoom. We want to make sure each candidate is presented with the same questions in the same way. Additionally, we will allot about 5 minutes for each question and allow 30 to 40 minutes for the candidates to respond, leaving a little time for them to ask questions of the panel. After all, These talented professionals are interviewing us just as much as we are interviewing them. Attached to this email, you will find a link to a survey. That survey presents you with a list of suggested questions. It allows you to volunteer to ask one of the given questions or to suggest another question that you would like to ask. We only need 6 to 8 people to ask questions, so you only need respond if you want to play this role. The survey will close at noon tomorrow, that's Saturday. We will then send out a final list of questions and questioners in the afternoon, as well as the detailed interview schedule. After the interviews, you will be asked to complete a feedback survey. That survey has 3 simple questions: an overall rating, the candidate's greatest strength, and areas in which the candidate would need support. After collating feedback from all of our interviews, we will make an offer to the best candidate. Again, it's important to do this now because we don't want to lose any of these talented educators during the break to other schools who are also courting them. Thank you again for your willingness to participate in this very important process for the future of ACS.